Imagine you're the CEO of the most prestigious music awards organization in the world. Then, one of the biggest music groups on the planet, a group that for years has been a magnet for ratings, viewers, and headlines, suddenly tells you, "We're not participating in your show this year." That's exactly what happened to the Grammy Awards when BTS, the 7 members who have long been the pride of K-pop on the global stage, officially announced their boycott in late July 2026. But what makes this story even hotter isn't just the boycott itself. It's what happened 15 days later. The Grammys, who initially seemed to shrug it off, suddenly issued a statement that shocked a lot of people, including ARMY themselves. So what actually happened? Why did BTS dare to take such a bold step? And what decision, made 15 days later, sent the K-pop world into a frenzy? Stick around until the end, because we're going to break down what this all means for the future of K-pop on the Grammy stage. To understand why BTS took such an extreme step, we need to rewind to June 2026. That's when the Recording Academy, the organization behind the Grammy Awards, announced 5 new categories that would debut at the 69th Grammy Awards, scheduled for February 2027. One of those 5 new categories was called Best Asian Pop Music Performance. At first glance, this sounds like a form of appreciation, right? The Grammys wanted to recognize the explosive growth of Asian pop music, K-pop, J-pop, C-pop, and similar genres, which have increasingly come to dominate the global music market. But here's where the problem starts. This category came with a specific requirement. Songs entered had to feature meaningful use of one or more Asian languages. That meant Asian songs that were mostly in English or in mixed languages could still potentially be funneled into this special category, instead of competing directly in general categories like Album of the Year or Record of the Year. For some, this was seen as exclusive and positive. But for many musicians and industry observers, a category like this was suspected of being a form of boxing in, a subtle way of distancing Asian artists from the main competition while still appearing to honor them through a special award. And this isn't the first time the Grammys have done something like this. If you look closely, a similar pattern played out with the Best African Music Performance category introduced back in 2023. Tyla, for example, won that category twice, in 2024 and again in 2026, beating out big names like Burna Boy, Davido, and Ira Star. But each win sparked criticism, not about Tyla's talent, but about the premise of the category itself. A number of observers, including culture critic Joey Akan, argued that African artists weren't actually asking for a special room of their own. They were asking to be treated as equals, eligible to compete on the main stage. This history is exactly why so many people grew suspicious when the Grammys announced the Asian pop category. And that suspicion only deepened once BTS, the group that has been the face of K-pop in America for years, finally spoke out. Wednesday, July 29th, 2026. A day that will go down as one of the boldest moments in the history of K-pop's relationship with the Western music industry. All 7 members of BTS, RM, Jin, Suga, jhope, Jimin, V, and Jungkook, simultaneously posted the exact same statement on their individual Instagram accounts. Interestingly, they delivered this message in Korean, rather than the English they typically use to communicate with their global fanbase. Many observers noted this wasn't a coincidence. It was symbolic, a symbol that they refused to be translated or adjusted just to fit into a particular category. The gist of the statement was this: they had decided not to submit their music for consideration at the 69th Grammy Awards. They hoped their music could be heard and loved for what it is, rather than being divided by region or language. They also thanked ARMY and everyone who has always stood by them. Imagine the impact of that. This wasn't some small group throwing a tantrum over being overlooked. This was BTS, a group that made their comeback with the album Escalating in March 2026, right after all the members completed their mandatory military service in South Korea. That album sold more than 3.9 million copies in a single day after release, and the music video for their flagship single, Swim, racked up over 146 million views on YouTube. In other words, this wasn't just any comeback. BTS came back with chart-topping status and massive momentum. They even performed at the World Cup 2026 final halftime show at MetLife Stadium alongside Madonna, Shakira, and Justin Bieber. The Grammys themselves had genuinely hoped BTS would perform at the February 2027 ceremony, which, for the first time in over 50 years of airing on CBS, will instead be broadcast on ABC and streamed on Hulu and Disney+. So when a group this massive says, "We're out," it's not just about one act missing from the nominations. It's the Grammys losing one of the biggest draws for their big broadcast comeback. What's also notable is that the boycott came exactly 1 month after the Asian pop category was announced, a timeline many believe wasn't coincidental at all, but rather a deliberate, calculated response from the BTS team. Shortly after BTS's statement went viral, Recording Academy CEO Harvey Mason Jr. gave an official response. He admitted he was saddened to hear about BTS's decision not to participate this year, but as a fellow music creator, he said he understood and respected their choice. Mason Jr. also defended the new category. According to him, the Asian pop category was designed to celebrate the depth, diversity, and extraordinary growth of pop artistry coming out of Asia. He stressed that the spirit of the category was to shine a dedicated spotlight on these important artists, and pointed out that artists who submit in a genre category like Asian pop can still also submit for general field categories such as Record of the Year. On paper, this sounds diplomatic, but ARMY and several industry observers saw it differently, as a defense that only confirmed the very concern people had all along, that this special category functioned as its own box, rather than a bridge to the main categories. And the drama didn't stop there. A few days after Mason Jr.'s statement, a new controversy erupted that made ARMY even angrier. The public noticed that historic BTS performance videos had suddenly disappeared from the official Grammy website. Live recordings of hit performances like Dynamite from 2021 and Butter from 2022, previously accessible to anyone on the Grammy site, could no longer be found. Those videos were still available on BTS's own official channels. But the fact that they vanished from the Grammy website right after the boycott announcement fueled massive speculation. Was this a technical coincidence? Or was it a quiet signal of frustration from the Recording Academy? Unfortunately, the Recording Academy had not offered any official comment on the video removals at that point. Their silence only fanned the flames of speculation on social media even further. Hashtags supporting BTS began trending, and some segments of ARMY started calling for a counter-boycott of the Grammy broadcast itself. What makes this moment truly iconic is how ARMY responded. Instead of feeling sad or disappointed that BTS was missing out on a shot at a Grammy, which, despite multiple nominations since Dynamite in 2021, they've never actually won, many ARMY members felt proud instead. Several outlets reported that the decision was widely praised by ARMY and drew global attention as a show of courage, not defeat. That makes sense when you consider the context. BTS themselves have long been fairly relaxed about the whole Grammy trophy chase. Member RM has even said that in this Ararang era, their focus is on the fans, not chasing after trophies. After all, with more than 500 other awards already under their belt, one Grammy trophy is no longer the measure of validation for them. Meanwhile, across the wider music industry, the response has been fairly cautious. Despite the buzz on social media, not many other major artists have openly joined BTS in boycotting the Grammys. Several observers point out that this is because BTS occupies a genuinely unique position. With one of the most loyal and influential fan bases in the world, they have this social capital to take a stand like this without fear of losing career momentum. Still, the public pressure was undeniable. Discussions around racism and exclusion in the Western music industry flared up again across various platforms. The debate was no longer just about whether BTS deserved to win a Grammy or not, but whether the awards system itself was fair to non-Western musicians in the first place. And this is where the most interesting part of this story begins. After more than 2 weeks of public pressure, criticism from Asian music industry figures, and relentless international media scrutiny, on August 14, 2026, roughly 2 weeks after BTS's boycott announcement, Harvey Mason Jr. issued another official statement. This time, the content was far more surprising than a simple, "I respect their decision." The Recording Academy officially opened the door to reviewing and possibly reforming the Best Asian Pop Music Performance category, the very category at the center of this entire saga. In his statement, Mason Jr. affirmed that the Grammys exist to serve everyone involved in the music industry, and that part of that mission is making sure no voice or community is overlooked or misunderstood. He revealed that over the past 2 weeks, the Academy had held various discussions with musicians, labels, and managers about the category. And from those discussions, he acknowledged that despite their intentions and desire for greater inclusivity, it had become clear that some artists in this space felt the category actually worked against that very goal. Take a moment to really think about that. This is a direct admission from the CEO of the most influential music awards organization in the world, that a policy they themselves created might have gone in the wrong direction, and that they're willing to consider changing it. This is not a small decision. For years, criticism of the Grammys over the representation of non-Western musicians has come up again and again, but it's rarely been met with concrete action this quickly. It took a boycott from one of the biggest groups in the world, combined with relentless global media pressure, to get the Recording Academy to seriously reconsider a policy they had announced themselves just 2 months earlier. For ARMY, this felt like a symbolic victory. Not a victory in the form of a trophy, but a victory in the form of validation. Proof that BTS's decision to stand firm on their principles, even at the risk of losing the chance to perform and win on such a massive stage, actually made a real difference. So what does all of this really mean? First, it shows that the collective power of fans, combined with a firm stance from a major artist, can genuinely influence the policies of an institution as big as the Recording Academy. For a long time, many assumed that decisions made by awards institutions like the Grammys were essentially set in stone and hard to change. But the BTS case proves otherwise. Organized, sustained public pressure, combined with bold action from an artist with real influence, can force change within weeks, not years. Second, this opens up a much bigger conversation about how the Western music industry treats music from outside America and Europe. The Best African Music Performance case we discussed earlier shows that the issue of boxing artists in isn't just about Asia. It's a broader pattern in how the Grammys approach non-Western music in general. If the Recording Academy genuinely revises the Asian pop category, it could set an important precedent for similar categories in the future. Third, and this is the most interesting part for ARMY, does this mean BTS might reconsider the Grammys in years to come if the category is genuinely revised? So far, there's been no official statement from BTS about that possibility. But based on how they've carried themselves throughout this whole saga, prioritizing principle over personal ambition to win an award, their future decisions will likely depend on whether the Grammys' changes are truly substantial, not just a symbolic gesture meant to quiet the criticism. What's clear is that this moment will be remembered as one of the pivotal turning points in K-pop's relationship with mainstream American music awards. BTS has long been known for paving the way in many respects, from speaking at the UN, to addressing social issues, to becoming the first Asian group to truly break into the American mainstream at this scale. Now, they may also be remembered as the group that forced one of the oldest and most conservative institutions in the music world to reevaluate how it treats Asian musicians. So that's the full timeline of the BTS versus Grammy drama. From the announcement of the controversial category in June 2026 to BTS's bold boycott in late July, the controversy over the missing videos, and the Grammy's shocking decision to reconsider their policy just 15 days after the boycott was announced. What do you think? Is this a genuine win for BTS and ARMY? Or is it just a PR move by the Grammys to cool down the criticism? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like this video if you found it informative, subscribe so you don't miss the latest updates on this drama, and turn on notifications because we'll keep tracking how the Grammys policy develops from here. See you in the next video.